So Miss, Anglo-Irish Bank caused the recession, right?
Well, no, it's not that simple.
So, what caused it then?
Well, debt basically.
Huh? Where did the debt come from?
Basically, in 1992 the members of the EU signed the Maastricht Treaty. This paved the way for the euro single currency to be introduced in 1999. 1990 was a big year.
Why?
America reversed the Glass-Steagall Act. This had been set up after the Great Depression of the 1930s to stop reckless lending.
Wait, just go back to the euro for a second. How is it connected to the debt?
The arrival of the euro meant that all countries in the eurozone could borrow at the same interest rate. This effectively meant that Irish banks had to pay 4% less interest.
What happened then?
This made it easier for them to borrow from French and German banks. They did this so they could lend it out on a higher interest and make a profit.
But why did everyone need the money?
Most didn't. They borrowed the money because they could and bought second homes to rent out to others.
That sounds dodgy.
Not nearly as dodgy as some banks were doing. They gave mortgages to people who they knew would never be able to pay them back. These were called subprime mortgages.
I've heard of them.
Previously people were only allowed borrow 2 or 3 times their salary. Now they could borrow 10 times their salary because banks were giving out 100% mortgages to first-time buyers.
And?
When the market began to fail, they gave them the whole price of the house they were buying instead of about 90% before. Unofficially they started giving out 105% or 110% of the price of the house so they could buy a car or furniture.
Why?
Greed really? And the government let them, because they didn't want the party to stop.
The government?
The more houses and cars that were sold, the more tax the government got. Also, people wanted the mortgages.
So how did it collapse?
The banks in Europe saw what was happening in Ireland in mid-2008 and started lending Irish banks money for shorter and shorter periods.
And?
On September 29, 2008, the Irish banks began to collapse and the government issued its bank guarantee. The bubble had burst and the recession officially began.